Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo, and by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.
Aloha, I'm Victoria Cuba from Waipahu High School's graduating class of 2014.
I'm Satoshi Sugiyama from Roosevelt High School's class of 2014.
And I'm Alayna Kobayashi from Punahou School's graduating class of 2014.
Each of us has been deeply involved in HIKI NŌ, and our experience in this program has had a profound influence on what we plan to do after we graduate from high school.
We'll be talking about what we've learned through HIKI NŌ, and we'll tell you about our plans for the future.
We'll also show you some of the outstanding stories from the winter quarter of the 2013 to 2014 school year in this special edition of HIKI NŌ.
Can do. Through HIKI NŌ, I was able to share my story as one of the many homeless high school students in Hawaii. I was able to tell everyone that no matter where you come from, no matter what obstacles you face, you will be able to become who you want to be. Because of these obstacles and challenges, it makes you a stronger person. It makes you who you are. Our first story also deals with the experience of becoming who you are. It comes to us from West Oahu, where students from WAIANAE Intermediate produced one of the most insightful HIKI NŌ features this year.
In 6th grade, I started to wear makeup, and I looked at other people and see how I'm different from them, and knew that someday I would be this way.
Raquel Largo is an 8th grade student at WAIANAE Intermediate School. From the time she was in 5th grade, she knew something didn't feel right inside of her body.
When I was little, actually, some kids would call me or ask me if I'm a boy or a girl because the way my hair was or the way I would do things. When I was a boy, I didn't do much with my look or anything.
Raquel was born a male named Royce and is a transgender person. A transgender person is someone who identifies with the gender that is opposite from the gender they are born into. So a person who was born a male but later identifies as a woman is transgender, and vice versa. There is a difference between being identified as transgender as compared to being identified as being transsexual.
Transsexual would be someone who takes hormones or does something surgically to identify to that sex that they identify with. Transgender would have not done anything to their body to identify as that gender, as that male or female gender.
In the 7th grade, Raquel finally decided to transition into being transgender, identifying as a female. She was only 13 years old at the time. Being a student in middle school is tough enough, but being a transgender student presents its own set of challenges.
I've been bullied a lot, called a lot of names that weren't so nice, and I just didn't think any of it because I knew becoming this I would get bullied.
According to the 2011 National School Climate Survey report, nearly 64% of transgender students in middle school and high school in the United States are verbally harassed in school.
People are ignorant to the fact that we're all human beings and we're all equal.
She's still the same person, she still has the same personality, and she's still my friend.
As an 8th grader, Raquel has been challenging the people around her to view the world differently. WAIANAE Intermediate School Administration is examining arrangements needed for transgender students.
The transgender student is treated just as any other student is on campus. The consideration that we need to put in place are the logistics, such as having a gender-neutral bathroom.
It'll feel awkward to go in a boys' bathroom like this because I know that a lot of boys don't appreciate or accept the way I am.
All the support she has received has made a world of difference in her successful transition.
I support her in every way, whichever way she wants to go, socially, mentally, physically, in every aspect of her life.
I know that I can come out and be who I wanted to be, knowing that there are people who love me and support me.
Living as a female, she finally feels accepted and can be her true self.
I want to be judged positively because no matter what I look like, pretty, ugly, boy, girl, because we're all human beings and we should all be treated equally.
This is Lehaleo Punui reporting from WAIANAE Intermediate School for HIKI NŌ.
Through HIKI NŌ, I was exposed to the professional field of journalism and got to know the expectations and standards the industry demands. I learned what it takes to create, develop, and shape stories through a cycle of writing and revising. The experience was especially rewarding for a student like me who is seriously considering a career in this profession. Our next report is by a group of students from Maui High School who were also serious about journalism when they studied the impact of Hawaii's same-sex marriage law on the local wedding industry, producing one of the best HIKI NŌ news stories so far this year.
Okay, so I'm creating a focal point for the ceremony.
Kevin Rebello is an officiant and photographer for both same-sex and straight weddings in Hawaii.
I would say most of the couples that we marry, both visitor and local, have all been together 10 years on up. They've been waiting for this.
Rebello is also in a same-sex relationship.
Well, when we met 20 years ago, we wanted to get married. As a gay couple, we wanted to have, the same opportunities that straight couples do when they get married.
Before Senate Bill 1 legalizing same-sex marriage passed on November 13, 2013, Rebello would perform marriage ceremonies that were not recognized by the state, but served as personal expressions and political statements.
We would do it exact same way as a straight wedding. For us, it was a civil rights issue. So I never called them commitment ceremonies. We always called them weddings and marriage, because to us, that's what we were fighting for.
After Hawaii became the 15th state to legalize same-sex marriage, Rebello benefited both personally and professionally.
Oh, we were ecstatic. It was like a battle that we finally won.
Now he can share that satisfaction with other same-sex couples.
We set up all their license appointment with the agents. There's no waiting period. Couples simply go online, fill out the application, meet with the agent, and can get married that same day. So it's just easy to get married in Hawaii. Hey Tom, this is Kevin at Hawaii Wedding again.
State Representative Chris Lee was one of the most vocal proponents for marriage equality in Hawaii.
Because this isn't only about fulfilling our obligation to do the right thing under the Constitution, but it's about doing what's right for everybody here in Hawaii. And with tourism the center of our economy, this was another step in that direction.
So you guys should be ready for the reception about that.
We should, yeah.
Rebello is already seeing the impact of the new law on his business. He has booked between 30 and 40 same-sex weddings since Senate Bill 1 was put into effect on December 2nd.
But we thought about putting a ban.
We've seen a tremendous increase in business. We probably book one wedding a day, gay and lesbian weddings, whereas in the past maybe 2 a month. So this is, for example, the month of December. You can tell that on certain days we had up to 4 weddings a day.
Between his full planner, Kevin is also ready to take advantage of the legalization for himself.
We've been together 20 years. We had a ceremony 12 years ago, and then we're going to get our Hawaii marriage license actually tomorrow, believe it or not.
This is Michelle Gima from Maui High School for HIKI NŌ.
Ever since I was 8 years old, I knew I wanted to be a filmmaker. Being part of the HIKI NŌ program has played a large role in confirming that filmmaking is my life's passion and has given me the confidence to pursue my dreams. Producing stories for HIKI NŌ has also helped me to realize that I have something important to say and my voice can be heard through film. Our next story is about a voice that will soon be heard around the world, that of the Polynesian Voyaging Society via its upcoming trans-global voyage. Preparations for this ambitious undertaking inspired students from Kawaihauna Okana'o'ao Public Charter School to produce one of the best stories of the HIKI NŌ season.
Aloha mai e nā Hawaii, ke aloha no ka mea nui. E o mai e nā Hawaii nā.
In May 2014, members of the Polynesian Voyaging Society will embark on a bold and adventurous expedition aboard the sailing canoes Hokulea and Hikianalia.
The purpose and mission of the worldwide voyage is to take these 2 canoes safely around the planet and start a discussion about what this planet needs to do and what we need to do as people to make sure that we bring about, once again, healthy environments to the sea and to our island Earth. These canoes have sailed many thousands of miles. Hokulea herself has sailed well over 140,000 miles within the Pacific. And over the course of the last 30 years, we've seen a tremendous amount of cultural pride and cultural reawakening with these vessels. And so one of the thoughts is that why not take this canoe around the planet to start those conversations with other Native peoples in other locations outside of the Pacific.
You know, Hokulea throughout its voyages has always had a message, right? And the message really is learning. It's like looking to our past to understand, you know, who we are now in the present, and taking all of that knowledge gained and learned and moving forward into the future. The purpose of this voyage is to really go around to a much broader area, which is the globe, which is Earth, island Earth. Learn from others and what they're doing to malama take care of their homes, and share that broadly as we move around the world. Wherever is our home, it is important that it's healthy, you know, it's cared for, and our children grow up, you know, feeling safe and strong and empowered. So getting the canoes ready, sea trials, crew training, and then we get all the provisions and stock her up and then get ready to head out.
This is Lauren Louis Kwan from Kobayashi Kana'o'a Public Charter School for HIKI NŌ.
After high school, I plan to attend the University of Hawaii at Manoa. With this education, I hope to pursue a career in the television and film industry as a broadcast journalist or screenwriter. With a career that I thoroughly enjoy and love, I hope to have a steady income that will allow me to financially support my family. Our next story is about a high school student with similar aspirations, who has also had to overcome obstacles in order to pursue his dreams. Students at Iolani School painted this portrait of an aspiring filmmaker with such compassion that it resulted in one of the best character studies of this HIKI NŌ season.
17-year-old Mitchell Kouchi dreams of a career in the film industry. However, before he can go off to college and pursue this dream, he must first undergo his 8th surgical procedure. If all goes well, it will be his last.
They're going to crack both sides of my jaw. They're going to crack it in half. They're going to pull out my bottom jaw, and I'm going to have my mouth wide shut for 3 months, roughly.
Mitchell was born with hemifacial microsomia, a condition that affects his ability to talk, breathe, and even eat.
I was born without a left bottom mandible. I have a narrow windpipe. I have a shorter than normal tongue. I have many dental problems. I was born with an extra ear hole on my right side. Last summer, my 6th surgery, I had a device put into my jawbone. It was kind of like a screw sticking out of my face, and then what they did was every day my dad had to crank it a millimeter so my bottom jaw would come out, and then so the last surgery over winter break they removed the device, so now it's not there anymore.
Despite these apparent setbacks, Mitchell has not allowed it to affect him.
My grandpa always told me that I was really happy. I don't know why. I was just a very joyful child. I watched a lot of movies, and the way they act in the movies was kind of the way I act in real life, and I only watched like Disney movies, so I was a very uncontrollably happy child. But when adults saw me, they like felt sorry for me, but I mean, I've never felt sorry for myself, really.
Instead of despairing, Mitchell focused on his work in film. In the beginning, he was in front of the camera. In 6th grade, Mitchell took his first film class and realized he preferred being behind the camera instead of in front. When Iolani offered a film class this year, Mitchell signed up immediately. He posts his projects on his YouTube channel and plans on entering the Iolani Film Festival, where his videos will be shown to the entire school. Many of them star his good friends. Though he's not sure where his love of filmmaking will take him, he is sure why he loves it so much.
I'm going to quote Steven Spielberg on this. He said that film is a way for the director to see what he wants to see. So the way I want to see life, I can make it in a video. Or the way I want others to see life, I can shoot it in a story. And that's what I love about film, is that I can make it anything I want. Like, I have full control of that life. That universe is mine.
This is David Pang from Iolani School for HIKI NŌ.
After graduating from Roosevelt, I will be attending the S.I. Newhouse School of Public Communications at Syracuse University in Syracuse, New York. Working as a reporter on HIKI NŌ stories gave me a clear understanding of the basic elements of news writing, and at Syracuse, I will be majoring in newspaper and online journalism. One thing I'm sure I will be learning at Syracuse is how to look beneath the surface, because appearances can be deceptive. Our next story, from students at Kamehameha School's Maui Middle, deals with that very phenomenon. The moral of the story: never judge a book by its cover.
Some students look at substitute teachers as people who don't have much talent or are not as smart as their regular teachers.
I think people think substitute teachers aren't that smart because they never experience what happens in the classroom, and if they were smart, they would be teachers.
However, Dr. Gary Greenberg proves that when it comes to substitute teachers, there is more than what meets the eye.
I've written books. I'm on my 5th book right now. My first book was on sand through the microscope.
Not only is he a published author and scientist, but a college professor and inventor of a special microscope as well.
I'm at the University of Hawaii Institute for Astronomy, and I'm looking at moon sand that was retrieved from the moon 40 years ago in the Apollo missions. And I'm using my 3D microscopes to look at sand in 3D and characterize what the little grains are made of and what they look like in 3D and how they were formed.
With his books, inventions, and his university responsibilities, one might wonder why he chooses to substitute teach at a middle school.
When I first came here and got the opportunity to teach at Kamehameha schools, I realized that this was a really great way for me to fit in a little bit with the Hawaiian community. Being a teacher at Kamehameha schools and an all-Hawaiian school has enriched my life in ways that never, ever could have happened had I not been teaching at Kamehameha schools.
Though teaching is something he is passionate about, there are times where students can be difficult.
We've all been to school. You know, I was a youngster once. When you have substitutes, sometimes you take advantage of them. Tell them things that aren't exactly true and, you know, sort of don't behave in class. And I think it's through mutual respect that you keep a good relationship with kids.
I think it's very fortunate for us because although he could choose any school across probably the whole nation, he still comes back here and teaches us.
There is an old saying that goes, never judge a book by its cover. Everyone can learn a new thing from a substitute teacher. Students just have to give them a chance. This is Jalen Obriga for Kamehameha School's Maui for HIKI NŌ.
After graduating from Punahou, I plan to pursue my passion for filmmaking by attending film school at Loyola Marymount University in California. I hope to someday become a filmmaker who creates stories that touch the lives and hearts of others. Our next story is sure to touch the hearts of anyone concerned with the current plight of Hawaii's green sea turtles. By investigating the cause of tumors that have been plaguing the turtles, students from SEABURY Hall Middle School filed one of the best news stories of the season.
The honu is a key aspect of Hawaiian culture. You see it in petroglyphs and stories of Aumakua, the individual guardians of Hawaiian people. In fact, green sea turtles go back over 100 million years before the dinosaurs. But a modern disease, fibropapilloma, or FP, is threatening these ancient survivors. It is a serious virus that can sometimes be deadly.
The fibropapillomatosis was first discovered in Kaneohe Bay in 1957, first published about it in 1958, but it was actually first discovered in Florida in 1938. You know, imagine if you're swimming around with a big thing on your head, something that obstructs your vision, because that's generally where it starts, in the posterior of the eye, and then it kind of grows elsewhere as well. If you see a turtle with tumors on the outside, a lot of times that they have tumors on the inside as well.
Although there's mystery surrounding the direct cause of FP, aquatic biologists believe the disease occurs in geographic areas that have been compromised by man-made pollutants, such as here on the north shore of Maui.
The virus, I believe, has also a condition in the environment. With our environment, we have a lot more fertilizers and a lot more runoff and things. The tumors appear to be induced but also by a lot of nutrients. And so for Maui, we've had nutrients coming from land sources like the injection wells as well as runoff.
While nutrients such as nitrogen may be good for plants on land, in the water, they only feed invasive algae and cause algae blooms.
And then so when the turtles eat the introduced algae, they're also ingesting a lot more nitrogen, and that may be tumor inducing.
Howell believes one solution to this growing problem is to protect another endangered part of our environment, the wetlands.
And that's where our wetlands become more important, because the wetlands would help hold back the runoff that would normally just flow into the ocean. And the wetlands and the recycling of nutrients and things with plants. And we as a community have to look where our nutrient sources coming from and not apply so much fertilizer. But we're still going to have to still address where our sewage goes.
So what can you do to help the Honu? Learn how to minimize your home use of fertilizers. Learn how you can help preserve Hawaii's wetlands, and if you do see a turtle that seems to be stricken with fibropapilloma, stay away.
You know, I just kind of want everybody to kind of put yourself in the turtle situation. Think about, you know, if you're sick, what do you want to happen? You know, you want to be able to rest. You want to be able to not be bothered by anything. So really just an overall respect for the turtles. If you see them swimming in the water, don't chase after them. If you see them basking on the beach, don't get too close. They're trying to sleep. And if they're trying to sleep, you need to really respect that. It is up to us to really help these turtles out, you know? If we are causing it, then it's up to us to really help them.
This is Alex Abraham reporting from Seabury Hall for HIKI NŌ.
Our final HIKI NŌ highlight comes from Central Oahu, where students at Kapolei High School chronicled the transfer of a World War II photo exhibit from a battleship to their school.
Images can be very powerful. They can capture historic moments in time, which become reality for those of us too young to remember events in history. For others, it refreshes their memory of events that greatly impact society.
Children soldiers, like young teenage soldiers who were hurt during this fighting process.
Students of Kapolei High's History Club got a glimpse of rare photographs of World War II and were given the task of showcasing the images of World's End at the Kapolei Public Library.
The images at War's End exhibit are images from the National Archives collection that are not your standard World War II image. They're not the images printed in every textbook. They're the personal images. A lot of them were from guys' individual cameras or photographers who were discovered after the war.
The project started with a school-wide field trip to visit the exhibit's home, the USS Missouri.
World War II came to an end on her decks, and that was Sunday morning, September 2nd, 1945. It took place right underneath that white tarp.
After a quick history lesson, it was time to go beneath the deck to check out the exhibit and be submerged into the history of the event itself.
This is the first time we've decided to integrate our existing exhibits and take them elsewhere.
Realizing that very key historical figures, historical people most likely, went throughout the decks and the surface of the ship, and they made history on this.
After visiting the Missouri, students began production of their vision of the exhibit, starting off with the selection of images to be displayed.
I feel like we should keep this one because it's from Hawaii.
They were local photos, so they would affect the people who would be seeing the exhibition more strongly.
So it's between this one and that one?
Yeah. The debates they had, I just had to sit back and observe. You know, don't get involved, let them work it out.
A lot of our population is Filipino too.
It was really difficult and frustrating because they were all really good photos with good historical significance, and it's hard to choose which ones were least important because they're all important.
I had my own ideas, but in the end, this was supposed to be a student-driven project.
This is showing that they're waiting for more.
It was fun to observe.
After some discussion and difficult decisions, it was time to head over to the woodshop for construction and manual labor.
The experience that we wanted the kids to be able to get out of this was, it wasn't just painting and construction or even just the photo selection. Hopefully we're exposing the kids to different career options, different school options, and we're just trying to provide as much experience as we can.
If they do happen, we'll scrape them off.
Most students come in here and think they can't do things. They don't feel comfortable, and in a few short minutes, we show them how things go together, how things happen, and before now they're feeling comfortable, they're doing a nice job, they have the reward of doing something and stepping back and looking, wow, that's nice, I did that. It's a good feeling, and it's nice to share that with students.
Finally, the day of the unveiling had come, and all the students' hard work was now displayed for the public.
This remained, from the very beginning through the end, a student activity, and it was just fantastic.
Well, I'm just happy that I was able to contribute to something that people can now look at and observe and learn more about the ship as I did.
I think I have become a better teacher as a result of this project. As a teacher, if you're ever presented with an opportunity to take your classroom outside, take the learning outside, make it hands-on, then you take advantage of it.
Old images were revisited and new images were created. For HIKI NŌ and Kapolei High School, I'm Irish Alvarez.
Thank you for joining us on this special edition of HIKI NŌ.
Thank you also for letting us share with you what HIKI NŌ has meant to us.
And how HIKI NŌ has helped to shape our future education and career choices.
We also hope you've enjoyed watching some of the outstanding HIKI NŌ stories from the winter quarter of the 2013-2014 school year. I know I have.
Be sure to tune in next week for more examples of how Hawaii's students HIKI NŌ
can do.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo, and by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.